What's next for new launch sales after Q1 of 2025? Why is there such a discrepancy? Moving forward, where are the remaining new launches for 2025 located? What does this mean to potential buyers? And what can we expect from new launch sales in the remaining of 2025? This is what today's video will discuss. What's next for new launch sales after Q1 of 2025? As of the time of this recording, new launch sales have continued to do well. Large developments like Lentor Central Residences, Parktown Residences, as well as the Orie have done well over their launch weekend. But are there more insights that we can extract from the data? Looking at new launch sales thus far, an average of 79% of a total of 3,251 units were sold at the respective launch weekends. But when we delve deeper into the data, we can see that there is a large difference between the sales of new launches by their respective regions. For example, OCR developments such as Parktown Residences, Lentor Central Residences, and RCR developments such as the Orie have contributed to a bulk of the sales, despite being large developments. On the other hand, Orie, a CCR development, has lagged behind despite it only having 188 units. So why is there such a discrepancy? In order to answer this question, we need to understand the relative supply situation across the three regions of Singapore. We have been in a relatively low supply situation since 2021, but supply of new condos will generally start to increase due to the government increasing the government land sales program in recent years. But we also need to look at where the government has released these new lands, which I will cover in the later half of the video, as well as the demand in each of the regions, determined here by the average annual sales across 2013 to 2023, in order to get a clearer picture. Taking the unsold supply of new launches by region and dividing the number by the average annual sales, we get take-up rate in years. This is a measure of how long it would take for the region's supply to be completely sold, assuming that demand and supply remains unchanged. The take-up rate tells us that it will take 4.9 years for all units in the core central region to be sold, 2.1 years in the rest of central region, and 1.4 years in the outside central region. Now, what does this mean? Across the region, this means that the core central region is relatively oversupplied compared to the rest of central region and the outside central region. I believe this helps to explain why the 5 developments, all situated either in the RCR or the OCR region, have done well relative to Orie. So moving forward, where are the remaining new launches for 2025 located? When we subtract away the 6 developments that have already been launched, as well as the executive condominiums, there are a total of 25 new developments launching by year end. Now, before we continue, if you'd like a full list of new developments in 2025, comment list below and I'll send it to you. Now, back to the video. Grouping them by the respective regions, a bulk of the developments launching this year will be in the core central region, and there will only be 4 developments in the outside central region. When we look at the total number of units, this is also true, in that the majority of units will be in the CCR and the least in the OCR region. So what does this mean to potential buyers? So going back to the 6 new launches that have already been sold this year, I've amended the table to include the average per square foot per development. Given the scarcity of OCR developments, expect the remaining developments in the outside central region this year to sell at an average per square foot of $2,200 and above, since Lentor Central Residences has already been transacted at that price. CCR leasehold developments will still hover around the $3,000 per square foot mark. But potentially with the higher supply, starting from prices might be a bit more competitive given that developers have a target to sell. RCR leasehold developments would then be somewhere in the middle, hovering around the $2,700 mark. So which are the developments that you should look out for in this list? In the CCR, I think the 4 land plots around the River Valley area, Zion Road parcels A and B, River Green, and the former Valley Point are the most interesting, especially also that they are within the same neighbourhood, have decent developers, and also quite a few number of units on sale. In the RCR, I like the Margaret Drive GLS, but Bloomsbury Residences and the plot at Science Park Drive could potentially offer bargains since it is a relatively underdeveloped area. In the OCR, there are only 4 developments to choose from this year, but I would still be eyeing the plot at Upper Thomson Road Parcel B, which is in the Springleaf Estate and has been won by Guoco Land. For larger unit sizes such as the 4 or the 5 bedrooms, there are still choices in the existing new developments to choose from. So message me below if you'd like to have a conversation on your property portfolio. Given the location of the new launches remaining in 2025, it might be a good time to be shopping for a unit in the core central region. First-time buyers looking in this area, however, will have to expect that the same budget can only buy you a smaller unit size, given the higher per square foot of land costs in the central region. So an alternative would be looking at resale properties in the outside central region as a first property before upgrading in subsequent years given the supply dynamics. So as each person's needs are different, DM me to discuss further. See you in the next one.